when we try to solve equations involving fractions, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to multiply fractions by their own denominator. And when that happens, the bottom of the fraction will disappear completely and all that we'll be left with is the top. It's a very useful shortcut, but because we're going to use it, we better justify that it works, and we better make sure that it works okay. So let's try something like this. Let's come up with any fraction, and at random I'll pick something like 3 over 7. And what I'm saying to you is that if we multiply that fraction by its own bottom, and I apologize for the noise in the background, but if we multiply that by its own bottom, in other words by 7, then we're predicting that we'll be able to get 3. Well, before we write down 3, make sure it works. So when we multiply a fraction by a whole number, the easiest way to handle that is turn the whole number into a fraction as well. So that becomes 3 over 7 multiplied by 7 over 1. Now, the way you multiply a fraction is you multiply the top by the top and you multiply the bottom by the bottom. Now don't get confused with cross-multiplying or anything like that. This isn't cross-multiplying, that's a totally different technique. This is just simply multiplying fractions. So we multiply top by top and bottom by bottom. Now 3 times 7 on the top. 3 times 7 on the top is 21. 7 times 1 on the bottom is 7. So that gives you 21 over 7. 21 divided by 7 is 3, which was the top of the fraction. We started off with 3 over 7. So we've ended up with the top of the original fraction. So it's an example of what we're talking about. When you multiply a fraction by its own bottom, the answer is the top of the original fraction. Let's try it again. Let's try it with 2/5. Okay, so let's try this with 2/5. And we're going to multiply it by its own bottom, so multiply it by 5. Now that's going to be 5 over 1. So multiplying it by 5 is the same as 2/5 times 5 over 1, and if we go top by top and bottom by bottom again, that's going to give us 2 5s are 10, and the bottom 5 1s are 5, and 10 divided by 5 is 2, which was the top of the original fraction. So the answer that you end up with is always going to be the top of the original fraction. Okay? So hopefully now you believe me when I say that the way to get rid of a fraction is to multiply the fraction by its own bottom. And this is the technique that we're going to use in this next section. Okay, thank you.